Stampendous has gone into another direction. They are doing metal stencils, and wait till you see the brand new ones. In fact, we like them so much we combine them with something that we also love.
Gilding flakes and flitter glue and scoochy sponges,
yes.
And we're going to show you how to do that.
Come play with us. And here they are. There are 4 of them. And what
Four beautiful stencils.
Yes, 4 beautiful. And what happened is that Fran, who owns Stampendous, bought Dreamweaver, and so that's why the combination. So that's why you see the Dreamweaver, and then Fran is starting to do her own.
So you've got these great looks. So this is a really kind of a loopy, almost a Celtic design with a heart at the top and the bottom, and then you have a Celtic style cross.
And then the heart shape with the filigree, and then the bird's nest. So while we're toward the end of January, you've got 2 nice potentials for Valentine's Day, anniversary, anything, a nice Easter, and then looking into spring.
Right.
So how do we use them? Well, here is the end result. And just beautiful. Now, of course, you can use them. They're stencils, so you can use them with all the regular things. You can dry emboss with them. You can do inks. You can use any of the glitter.
Even even chalk. I mean, you're going to be able to use that really, really easily, but I love it with the gilding flakes.
Right, so if you want this look, here's how you're going to do it. And this is using the Tonic Nouveau gilding flakes. This happens to be the gold one. We're going to show you all of them.
Right, so we have several different brands of gilding flakes. This is the one we're using for this one. And I've got the stencil, I've got black cardstock, and I'm going to start with flitter glue, and I'm going to make a little puddle of flitter glue here. Open that all the way up and just get some of that out there.
And flitter glue is important because it is very sticky. It also has a long drying time, so it allows us to get some and to put our gilding flakes in place.
Right. It's actually okay after you use the flitter glue to let it dry a little bit before you put the flakes on, because you'll still be able to adhere them. In fact, it's a little easier when they've dried a little bit. So here's the stencil, and I've got a cosmetic sponge that I'm going to use to apply that glue.
Are you not putting stencil tape down?
Oh, right.
Is that why you have it sitting there?
Right here. So I'm just going to put a couple of pieces, maybe one there, maybe one here. And the trick to using metal stencils with flitter glue is to be very conservative with the amount of glue you're applying.
So little is better.
Yes, you see me pulling it out here to get a thin layer, and I don't want it to like squeeze off. You can see it sort of coming out of the sponge. I want it just super light. If I get it too heavy, it's going to go underneath the edges of those cut areas on that stencil. If it goes underneath, then you're not going to get a clean image.
Right. So it's almost a little counterintuitive, because you'd almost think, okay, that metal, I want to really smash the flitter glue down, but don't do that.
No, use a light touch. And something that Susan said is that if you use a light touch, if you apply those flakes and they don't get everywhere, just place the stencil down and do it again afterwards, after you've already applied those gilding flakes.
So you could fix any errors.
Right. So here I'm going to pick it up, and I can see that I've got some of it. And let me go ahead and apply this, at least to a small area here. There we go. See where I've gotten that glue. And see, it didn't look, when I was looking at it sideways, it didn't look like I got glue all over, but that's kind of the magic of it. I really got quite a bit. I'm taking the extra and I'm putting it back in, and you can even do more of that after you use a scoochy sponge. Scoochy, right?
Scoochy foam.
Scoochy foam. The scoochy foam, and look, I got a little bit of the glue here, so you can go ahead and like place Post-its or more tape along the edge of that stencil so you don't get it everywhere, but there's the magic of it, and I'm going to just tap that off a little bit.
Super easy to use. Now, could you get this off?
You can get that off. Actually, I'll show you something that's even better to use than your fingernail. A nice sharp edge like this will take that right off. It removes mistakes pretty easily. Okay. So you can do that if you haven't taken the time to use the stencil tape around the edges of it. And I could do that a little more. It just takes a second to get that off. But That's that beautiful look, and then all of this in the background just sort of wipes away.
It does.
And
So
you have a beautiful
light,
look.
light touch. That's the trick on using the Scoochie foam with the thicker metal stencils. And I think another thing is really nice is to use a dark color behind it, because that really makes the gold pop and so pretty. And then you can see how we've used the papers and dazzles, of course, sending smiles. And there's the little heart that is at the bottom of this, or at the top, I guess. There you go. You can use that little heart separately if you like.
It's a beautiful look. So you're saying use dark colors. It really does make it stand out. But that doesn't just mean black. I mean, browns are great with that too.
Which we'll see in just a second.
Okay.
I just thought I'd show you. This is one that was done with the Persian Dawn gilding flakes. So just it has a variety of colors in it. So just some really fun looks that you can get. Okay, you mentioned brown. Well, how about this? And copper on brown is such a beautiful, beautiful look.
That is gorgeous. So done in the same way that you just saw me do, and using the next color. We've got the copper.
Yep, I love copper.
A beautiful look with that copper. So that's just gorgeous, and combined with those copper jeweled border dazzles.
Just like that, yes.
Yeah.
So works beautifully, and the inside of the card is done. This has got some more dazzles on it, along with the sympathy.
But these dazzles in particular, they're showing up as copper.
They are.
And they are sold in gold. It's actually a 3-set, a gold and a black and white, I think, all together. But they were colored with stays-on metallic copper. So you just take your sponge out, you just pounce them over the dazzled words before you pick them. You let them dry, pick them up, and place them on your card.
So others of you who love copper like I do, you can have your dazzles to match. Nice to know. Okay, now we are going for that beautiful heart.
Nice
and
large heart.
Scrapbookers, all of the things that we do are applicable to your love of scrapbooking. So in this case, we have it on a red, and this is the silver. So looks like that.
Silver down at this corner, and there's actually the gold up at the top left corner. So beautiful. And I love this on the paper painting papers. So that's really pretty. So you can just go ahead and stencil that right onto patterned paper. It doesn't have to be onto cardstock. You're going to use a light layer of that flitter glue. And then afterwards, you can actually just cut out about 1/8 of an inch outside. So just take a look at the design and cut out about 1/8 of an inch around it. And I like it matted on the black.
Very pretty. And I do like the dazzles coming off. This is the paper painting dazzles to go with the paper painting papers.
And they sort of wrap around the edge of the heart, which is kind of pretty.
And I think paper painting was used in the first card too.
No,
No.
I think those are one of the script greetings or the long card greetings.
Papers.
No, Sunday musings.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
Never mind. But I think that's fun. Very, very fun.
It is fun. And the dazzles down at the bottom, they're backed on 2 different specialty papers. If we get in, I'll show you. Those are silver linen and gold ripple.
Yes.
Super easy to back those.
Very
and nice
pretty.
little accents.
A little bit of a shine down there to kind of go along with that gorgeous heart.
One thing about that, though, I mean, you can do that, and that's really pretty if you have those specialty papers on hand. That's really fun. But since you've got the gilding flakes, you can also put the gilding flakes on cardstock. Just make one piece of cardstock that's just covered with those gilding flakes, and use that to back your dazzles. And that will match that nicely too.
Yes, it does. Good suggestion. Okay. Now we've shown you pretty much the gilding flakes done all together in one piece. Now, if you took that bird's nest and did them with a gilding flakes, this is how it could also look, where everything is done. But you can also separate them. So that's what has been done here.
Okay, wait a minute. How can you separate a stencil? Okay.
Through the magical use of stencil tape.
So with this one, just very briefly, I'm going to show you. Debbie took the stencil, and I've got nice gilding flakes on my fingers, and she covered those little eggs in the center of the nest with stencil tape. Okay, so you cut around that stencil tape to make sure that you're covering only those eggs. I would go ahead and cut around that. Then you take your stencil, you place it on your cardstock, and get out pigment inks. This is what she did first, so you can see that. And I've got the yellow-green pigment inks and the rich rustics pigment inks. Lots of different colors in those cat's eye cues. I love that about that. And she just went around through the stencil. So let's put this here. She went through the stencil and did, I'm going to match it up. I might have it backwards. Let's see, yes. Just like that, but with those little eggs covered up with the stencil tape, she was able to do the ink first. And because it's pigment ink, after you ink through there, you want to remove that, let it dry a little bit. And then she stenciled around the nest area, left the eggs exposed, and then just did the eggs with the flitter glue and the gemstones. So now you've got the eggs.
And let me show you what the gemstone looks like. It's got so many colors in it. And wow, isn't that gorgeous?
It is beautiful.
Aptly named, I would say.
A real kind of a fall look, a fall color anyway in those colors, but they just look beautiful on those eggs. I just think that's a beautiful, like speckled robin's eggs or something, except that they're, you know,
they're just
gemstones.
Except they're gemstones.
And they match the brown fireworks.
Isn't that fun? Beautiful on the brown fireworks. Now, inside the card, simply making the nest and filling that in.
Okay, and Debbie said that this was her whole plan. Let's go back to the front of the card for just a second. It's count your blessings, the eggs are in the nest, and then when you open up, oh, they've left the nest. Seize the day, little ones. I just thought that was wonderful. And the neat thing about this is, again, she did the entire piece with those eggs covered. She stenciled it, and again, I probably have it backwards. she covered the eggs with stencil tape, went ahead and used flitter glue over the entire piece, and then she moved it up so that she could also stencil through and get the center of that nest to cover it.
So very fun, and
Very,
again,
very
I'm just
ingenious.
all of these have this wonderful, wonderful shine. So this is what those brown fireworks, which may be kind of brown fireworks, but it works. It works amazingly well. So you can play with your stencils too, as we've shown. So you can do the one color, which of course is kind of step one, or you can take them apart and do different things. Like maybe those hearts, you could have done one side one finish, another side another finish.
Sure, absolutely.
Or angled them. Yeah.
Another thing would be to cut a heart in half and go off the edge of the page.
Right.
That would be a fun look
card.
too. Or do several of these, fold them, put them together, and make an ornament of hearts going around. So
or a gatefold card.
Lots of different ways to use these great stencils.
Right, along with the gilding flakes.
With the gilding flakes. There are 4 of them. The other one has, you know, gilding stuff all over it, but there it is. Ta-da.
So great fun. Join us next week. We're going to bring you more fun things and great designs.
See you then.